Hey, welcome everyone. I'm excited to have Amit Zavery, President of ServiceNow, join us for this session today. We'll talk about future of AI, AI in the enterprise, AI for developer productivity, future of workflows. A lot of interesting topics here. So Amit, before we start, how about you quickly introduce yourself to the audience here?
Jyoti, thanks for having me. I'm very excited to have a chance to have a conversation with you. So I'm Amit Zavery, President, CPO, and COO of ServiceNow. I run product and engineering and the strategy and operations of the company. So quite actively involved with all the things we're building and the partnerships and the discussions we've been having in the industry as well.
Well, great to have you here chatting with us. So let's start with AI in the enterprise. Of course, there's a lot of conversation here. We sit in Silicon Valley, and there is not a single conversation you can have without AI. But what are you seeing in real enterprises? ServiceNow works with thousands and thousands of companies. What's the adoption of AI? What are the key use cases you're seeing people adopting?
No, you're right. I think AI is top of mind for everybody we speak to, right? So every customer I go and speak to, first thing they want to talk about is what to do around AI. So the biggest question for many companies right now is where to start, what to do, how to get it done, and how do you create value out of it. That's kind of the typical conversation. A good thing, we've been fortunate at ServiceNow to start in the AI journey many years ago. With the Now Assist product, which has been around for a few years, was the idea of helping customers as they adopt workflows and integrate with different parts of businesses, and they want to automate business processes. AI became a very integral part of that. So ServiceNow has been delivering AI capabilities in that mode. And over the last year and a half, we've been kind of accelerating what we do around agentic. So agentic has become top of mind for every customer you speak to, because enterprise customers want to do automation, they want predictable outcome, but they also want ability to really improve how they operate, as well as get value of the investment they're making. So agentic really clicks with them because it really is giving them the ability to understand the business processes, automate those business processes, figure out where to make changes, and automatically make that happen in the back end.
Yeah. And is the primary driver efficiency for them? When you're talking to these customers, they want more efficiency?
Yeah, efficiency is kind of the starting point, but I think efficiency leads to eventually flexibility as well. So they want the efficiency because they want to kind of, the arcane systems, every enterprise company has a lot of legacy systems, right? And for them to kind of take those legacy systems, modernize them, and have to do that in a much better way than they used to do typically. AI might be the kind of the catalyst for them to get going. So the efficiency of taking that existing investment, improving and modernizing is one part of it. The modernization becomes the part of the conversation. And second is to really have a much more manageable environment, which gives them the way to operate differently, improve their bottom line for sure, but also improve the top line by customer satisfaction, other things they want to also drive with AI.
Yeah. So, of course, a lot of people in the audience are developers and looking at, software engineering problems through AI. Yeah. What do you think of the adoption of, AI for the software engineering workflows? Of course, AI for coding is everywhere and everyone is using it. How are you guys doing it internally from software engineering? What are you hearing from customers?
Oh, for sure. I think, Jyoti, as you mentioned, we are, now every company is thinking about how they can improve their operations, right? So we have something we call Now on Now, which is like taking a lot of the learnings we've had with the products we built and bringing it internally inside as a kind of making sure with the client zero of adopting a lot of the technologies we build and sell to customers. Second, we of course work with a lot of partners, including you all, about how do we improve the efficiency of our operations for engineering as well. So a lot of people talk about wipe coding. There's a lot of opportunity to really improve efficiency from how you build and test and deliver software, as well as what we're doing now for customer service becomes very important. So we have done today around 76% deflection rate on customer service. So we have a large case volume go up because the business has gone up very fast, but our customer support team is not growing anymore. You don't need to, because we've been able to handle a lot of things with customer automation and self-service kind of things. Similarly, we're doing that for sales operations, finance. So every part of the business is having some impact because of the AI efficiency we can bring in. And the software engineers today, we use coding tools. We, of course, now releasing software much faster because of the efficiency we're bringing with AI capabilities now. A lot of ways to test better, which is important. A lot of engineers, as you know, don't want to write a lot of documentation. So AI helps them with that, but also creating unit tests and things like that as well, reuse of code. as well as integration with various dependencies and things like that. So it's impacting every part of our life cycle and every part we touch internally between different groups, as well as everything we do with customers and our partners as well. So AI has become kind of the common theme, and there's not a single area which we are not rethinking. Right?
Totally. That's what I'm starting to believe. Like, if someone doesn't believe in leveraging AI in their jobs, they're probably doing a disservice to how they work and how they operate, because the productivity gain is real. The process impact is real in many things that
you guys talk to a lot of customers. I'm sure you've seen this on a regular basis.
Yeah, we definitely we see the first step of AI in software engineering, AI for coding, which is very obvious. The coding impact of LLMs, everyone is using in some ways. But we also see an interesting dynamic, the coding by itself doesn't really increase your throughput. Of how fast and how frequently you're shipping. Actually, the folks at Google, they have the DORA research team. The DORA research team published this data this April in the Google Next conference, where they modeled everything on teams using AI for coding. They said it's 25% increase in the code volume, 25% more code coming out, but the throughput decreased 1.5%, and the stability decreased, I think 7.5%. So it's if you have AI for coding, the code will have more bugs and vulnerabilities, not because AI is accurate or not, because no developer can read all that code. There's too much code coming out. And if your downstream processes of testing and deploying it and security and governance and all are not big or robust enough, it's not going to get more throughput out of it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, software engineers are not just writing code. Right? They have a huge amount of other parts of the task. So you have to automate all of these things. We've been starting to look at every part of their life cycle. And making sure that we can provide tools to our software engineers so they're more productive. But we've also been thoughtful about what you can do as well, right? Because a lot of the software engineers, they have their own ways of working. You can't just force everything into that kind of conversation. So things are changing, but I think the AI technology definitely is working. It's more of now how do you adopt it. There's a lot of cultural changes required. Of course. This is not just a software change, right?
Definitely, it's a cultural change. It's in many cases it might be just a job role change. It's the job role and the job discipline might be totally different.
You're right. I mean, we today, for example, support all the large language models. Last year we started with our own domain-specific models, and now we have all the frontier models out there and the same code base, right? So we kind of making sure that all these things can be tested properly with prompt engineering kind of roles. We're doing a lot of work in terms of how customers can select those things, so what kind of permutation combination and the whole configuration requirements are there. So a lot of changes need to happen there. Right.
So let me ask you questions around how people build enterprise applications on top of a platform like ServiceNow. The great thing about platform like ServiceNow, and I've seen the evolution from doing a certain things to now a full workflow platform. You have Satya Nadella from Microsoft saying the enterprise SaaS won't exist because companies can just build their own solutions with AI. How do you guys think about that?
It's a good conversation to have, right? I mean, I think the softwares are changing. The technology has changed a lot. You have to think of ServiceNow as a platform company. I mean, that's how it has originated. It's always been that, right? This idea of one platform with one data model, one user experience, allowing you to connect every part of the business. So the workflow capability around at a business process level. So it's a really enterprise productivity kind of mindset versus a data or a particular application only, right? So the platform allows you to, one, build your own workflows on it. So we provide all the constructs and capabilities where you don't have to do all the heavy lifting. You can build your business process. Second, we provide packaged business processes, workflows, right? Could it be for IT, for security, for HR, finance, customer service, sales operations, CPQ, those kind of things, right? So it's really a platform which kind of extends in that regard. It now has the same platform as AI. So it's easy to now take AI capabilities. We have the whole agentic OS built in, right? Be it around AI agents, the whole orchestration engine, the control tower for managing security of AI capability, but also the trust and safety and compliance, which is very important for enterprises, right? So the idea that we can provide you all of this stuff in the platform, and then you can build your workflow or integrate various systems together with any kind of business backend, as well as any kind of data platform. So we connect various data systems together, but also any kind of application workflows, right? So the difference for us versus maybe this thin veneer of SaaS is very stark, right? When Satya talks about the SaaS been replaced. A lot of the shallow capabilities is doable with large language model. But once you start doing this enterprise business processes, which has a lot of context, which has a lot of security requirements, a lot of requirements around compliance, trust, safety, those financial institutions, regulated industries, or even any kind of manufacturing companies, or you talk about any software companies. These processes are very complex, and it requires a lot of depth of understanding, as well as you have to change your businesses quite often, right? So a lot of the domain of understanding is not just in the business context in the application, it's in humans as well. So there's a huge amount of interaction required with humans, which you can't codify everything. And then the whole thing you require in a platform. So that's what we solve for. So sure, there will be pieces which can be replaced in shallow SaaS application. We don't think of ourselves as a SaaS application because we're a platform company. Or you can build your own, of course.
Yeah, totally. I 100% agree with that. I feel like it's a bit premature to have that. Maybe it was a bit.
No, I think it's always exciting to have those debates.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I think people get a chance to think about what the future will look like. But I think there's a reality in terms of what enterprise software is, right? And you and I have been in enterprise software for ages. And when you look at this enterprise companies, there's a large amount of investment which have been made. And these systems are not that straightforward to go and replace with a single line, a few lines of code. Right? There's a lot of
also
things,
the enterprises
rules,
need deterministic nature, and also need auditability and controls and governance. Like when we look at the areas at Harness, we have really good AI for creating deployments, like your CI/CD pipelines, for example, right? So many times people think like, is AI going to do the deployment in production for me? And we tell them, no, AI is not going to do the deployment. AI will create the deployment pipeline that's auditable and governable and meets your enterprise standards. But all the burden of creating and maintaining that pipeline, AI can do. But it's the pipeline which will do the deterministic deployment for you, so that you have all the enterprise controls and governance, and so you don't have to fear it. But that layer is still needed. Like that is the fundamental layer that will do the things.
I think agentic is the same idea, right? People are used to this hardwired, or maybe even not hardwired, even configurable business processes which are deterministic. Now with agentic, you have the ability to kind of make it more, I would say, changing on the fly. But then you still want to marry that with information you had for years of workflow data, which we would do, and guarantee an outcome. See, outcome and actioning is a big part. A lot of these large language models and technologies out there are more for information retrieval. They're not action-oriented systems, right? They don't finish actions. And the benefit of ServiceNow, that's why we've been growing this well, and customers appreciate what we bring to the table, is to make their businesses much more action-oriented and get the work done. And getting the work done is what really they want, right? Somebody's asking for some help. They have intent with it. And when you can understand the intent and finish that task, that's the win. So that's why our business has been really accelerating in the AI space. If you look at every customer out there, we talk about customers like BT, a lot of the banks we work with, British Telecom, or banks we work with, like Bank of America, Citi, and others. They are doing very complicated tasks. And we are able to now, I mean, at our large conference early this year, there's AstraZeneca doing pharmaceutical research on a platform like this. Or Stellantis, who has to rewire the supply chain based on the tariff discussion which is happening in the world nowadays, right? And you need a platform which can do a lot of these things with using AI to make the business really scalable. And that's why we have to pay attention.
And are you seeing people, ServiceNow is such a rich platform for people to do integration and processes, use of MCP or something like all agent to agent, but to integrate with ServiceNow? And how do you think about
that?
So
we were the founding member of A2A with the Linux Foundation with Google. And we work very closely with them. And then now, of course, we have a lot of members there. So we have something we call AI Agent Fabric, which is supporting A2A. There are other protocols we're emerging, so we support that, as well as MCP. So whatever is emerging to make it easy for agents to communicate, we definitely do already out of the box. And a lot of customers use us to communicate with other agents as well. So we're using the AI Agent Fabric, using A2A as well. So we work with Microsoft, Google, we work with Box, we work with Cisco, SAP, Workday, all the others out there. But second thing on top of that, the one which has been resonating with the customers is something we call AI Control Tower. The idea is that all these AI agents can be discoverable, just like any software assets. So it's automatically available through a central console, and it manages the interaction of these AI agents. versioning, life cycle, security around it, and then we work with a lot of tools out there like yours to make sure that information flows through. But there's one central way to manage all your capabilities and integrations, and we've been an integration framework for a long time, bringing various systems together, and AI agents is one other way to do that.
You know, we at Harness, one of the most in-demand integration always is ServiceNow integration for us. Like, you know, people want in their deployment systems and their delivery process, especially, you know, in the large enterprises we work with, integration in the ServiceNow workflow very deeply. And, you know, that's a very, you know, common integration we do where, like, you know, you run a test and then you open a ticket and then someone updates and all of that we automate through the pipelines directly. So now we are moving to your you know, AI-based integration to make it.
That's good. I think our goal has been. I mean, we've been talking about this autonomous IT, for example, with zero human interaction required to have a workflow. Right. So when you create a case, you can start with a voice AI. You can do it with text, with a chat, with a prompt. You can do it through a system interface, through agent to agent. So making it much more multimodal in that regards, and there's no human touch required. So you can automate and you can get efficiency. So I think I'm glad you guys are doing all this integration.
Totally,
I think customers will benefit, and I think with AI, as you point out, the workflows and the processes are becoming quite intense across the various systems, and you can automate those things.
And half the processes are run by the agent, so you bring humans and agents in the same process there. How do you you know, what do you hear from enterprises and customers, and even internally the security and governance challenges? And, you know, when you go and say we are doing this AI, do people question, like, you know, about the controls, the governance, the data security, all those kind of things?
Oh, for sure. I think as soon as the first conversation is where to start, and second is like, does it make sense with this requirement around trust, safety, compliance, security? All those things are top of mind for every enterprise. Now the enterprise want to adopt AI without those scaffoldings and the capabilities to manage that. What has happened is that, of course, a lot of experimentation started. And many companies initially may have started with this idea of like do it yourself. And they realized quickly that spare part world is very different than building buying a solution, which is upgradable, manageable, understands the ecosystem, connects with various things together. So very soon, as soon as we talk to our customers, hey, we were experimenting this thing. Now we want to have real work. And they start with a platform. And this idea, as you point out, they want this security, compliance, and trust kind of capabilities. And that's why the AI Control Tower, I mean, we, in the last quarter earnings, we talked about, we have 100 customers in less than a month of announcement. Because this idea that they want to have centralized way to operate and have visibility in these things, in all the AI deployments at least.
Totally. I think it's interesting, like how quickly that conversation is shifting from, you know, we are not being allowed to use AI to like, you know, okay, how do I use AI, and like, how do we make governance and controls? But, you know, it's the...
You remember the cloud days, right? People are like, oh, I don't want to do anything in the cloud, and it took some time. I think the AI adoption is like 10 times faster than what cloud we saw, but it did happen because people realized the value. And there's a lot of value with AI, but then you want to make sure you don't make mistakes. And they don't. And AI could be used wrongly if you don't manage the whole proper access to data and put the security and the compliance and regulatory kind of view on top of it with the trust around it.
You know, what advice would you give to people? You think, again, people who are in enterprises, or like, you know, at ServiceNow, I always consider ServiceNow as an inspiration for any tech company. Like, you know, if you are in building good software products, like it's an amazing platform, you know, with a lot of customer love and adoption over time. You know, so maybe two parts of the question: what advice would you give to enterprises, and what advice would you give to a lot of tech startups and tech companies as they're doing things?
I think my advice to enterprise and everybody I speak to is that get started. I mean, find use cases. I mean, don't do just random experiments. Find one or two use cases which make sense and a value add to the business. Work with partners and vendors who have capabilities and deep platform experiences, and get going on one of those use cases, and you start learning. And once you get few of these things right, the value add to the business and the scale you can get out of it is real. And there are a lot of peers they can talk to if they have not started themselves, but the other peers might have. But this is a big business value add as well as differentiator as a company. If you don't do it now, you will be left behind, and by the time you catch up, it'll be maybe too late. So I think first advice is really, this is real, and take it seriously. Put a team together, work with the right partners, whoever you think makes sense, and don't be late to this thing. Right?
That's the same advice, you know, we give to our customers as well. Like, you know, it's real. Like, you know, if you don't make that, you know, if you don't, like say in the software engineering world, if you stop your developers from using AI coding, they just would go somewhere else, or they will start doing it, in a shadow IT kind of way. And then the same thing we're seeing now in like DevOps and software delivery. Like, if you have a much better AI, product that can do compared to the old ways, it's hard to not do it, and it won't make sense because you lose people and they will go and do it.
I think you're right. Why would you not, kind of thing, right? I mean, but as long as you're using the right tools, and I think I completely understand the worry about security and things like that, and that's why you have to have that capabilities around it, and without going through that with the proper experienced teams and who have done this before, it's really harder, right? So for sure.
Yeah. So the other side of the question, like, when we see a lot of tech companies, the question for everyone is almost like an existential question. Okay, what do we do with AI?
Yeah.
And at ServiceNow, you guys have done an amazing job in kind of transforming with the the agent OS and everything. You think most companies have that risk, and what advice would you give to them?
No, I think you have to look at your technology. What you're trying to solve for is my view with that, right? Wherever the value is, if there is a value you're creating an application, then no use rebuilding everything underneath the covers. There are providers who can provide you that. Take those building blocks and then build the outcome you want to drive. I think it changes a lot of things, right? As the tech stack has changed drastically. The user experience has become very dynamic, right? It could come through like chat interfaces, voice, multimodal, multilingual in the same thing, and it's very dynamically changing. The monetization is changing drastically. Right? How do you charge for it? How do you calculate it? It's very, very different. So the AI native stack is different. Find the right people for sure. But also, I think if you don't, then you will, I think as you pointed out, maybe there will be a place where that software might not exist because something else will take it over. So you have to move fast. And I don't think so customers are going to keep on waiting. Right? And we have to modernize the technology you deliver. And that's why we moved very fast. We built a native stack in our product, and it is really paying off because customers are seeing value. We're seeing energized engineers. We're seeing partners who want to work with us, and we get the whole ecosystem is becoming very, very big for us because of that.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. Like, it's whether you're a customer, an enterprise who are looking for IT solutions, tech solutions, you have to adopt AI. And if you're a vendor, if you're not, becoming AI native very fast or AI first very fast, it's a problem. At Harness, actually, we have the inverse problem. I like to remind everyone that when Harness was launched from stealth in 2018, much before ChatGPT, the headline in press was Harness brings artificial intelligence to continuous delivery. This was 2018. So that we've been doing AI and no one really paid as much attention because AI wasn't that interesting. But this is pre-LLMs, of course.
So we had that got started early.
Yeah, so we had the advantage of having a lot of the AI foundation to what we're doing. But at the same time, we are very paranoid about that. The world is changing very fast. The tech stack is changing. The skills and what the user experiences people expect us from any product, any vendor are completely transforming. So you have to be at the forefront.
No, I think the value is there, and I think it's proven now. It's not like this is an experimental stage anymore. So if you don't move fast, as you point out, I think you will be left behind, and it'll be too late.
So the last question I ask, a lot of people, because it's kind of the question I get asked by everyone from kids even, or what happens to software engineers? The job of software engineer, does it go away? Does it remain? What's your point of view?
I think with any technology shift, there will be changes. And I think this is a major shift. This is not like a small change in the world, right? So I do believe there will be pieces a software engineer will have to do less of, right? Basic coding and all can be done. I mean, with these tools are pretty powerful. But there is a huge amount of work required building software. One is design. Which is hard to, if you don't have the background, you don't have the basics of software engineering or computer science, it's very hard to understand the implication of systems and things like that. If you're building just a UX, maybe less of a work required in that understanding, but broadly. So I think the software engineer job is going to be understanding what the outcome you want to create, how do you bring pieces together, how you design the right kind of experiences, the right kind of technology associated with that, with less amount of coding in some cases. But now we're also dealing with complexity of new technology stack. So how do you do now data access, security associated with that? I think there's a lot of prompt engineering will be talks about for sure. A lot of the testing is changing in terms of, because the outcomes are not deterministic. So how do you now guarantee what the customers are going to see is what they need? So now matching what the LLMs or technologies are producing to what the results should be. So I think the software engineers should start rethinking what they will have to focus on. I don't think software engineering goes away. It just changes in terms of what you focus on more and more.
I 100% agree. Like, the software engineering job is not going to go away. It just changes.
And we are still hiring many of them.
They're
not good.
Yeah, same here. Like,
we can't find
we are
enough
hiring
of
a
the
lot
good.
as well.
Yes.
It's kind of interesting. Like, everyone talking about software engineer job going away, but everyone is hiring a lot right now.
I think the skill sets are changing. I think it's
Yes.
just a matter of if you're not going to be an AI software engineer, it might be tricky.
Yes, totally.
So it's just a matter of who you are and what you focus on, right? What we are looking for AI native skills. So I think the skill set requirements are changing, and understanding the tech stack is different tech stack. So you have to understand what that means.
Yeah, the skill set is becoming like almost like a AI, like what used to be like a architect level software engineer who's working with like designing and like coordinating with but let's say more junior to mid-level engineers. Now everyone has become an architect level with AI, and that's what they have to become.
Very true.
They have to do. Great. Hey, Amit, thanks for joining us here today. Really insightful conversation.
Thanks for having me. It was great, and good luck with all the things you guys are doing.
All right. Hey, thank you.